You were born to be creative. Isn't that a joy in and of itself? Every choice, every decision is along your path in creating a life. Now, some people will say, well, I didn't create this in life that doesn't make me happy. There are choices and incidences and events and things that happen that we are always participating in, whether we know it or not. We can be conscious of it, unconscious of it. What we'd like to be, right, is more aware, more conscious in every choice and decision we make in creating a life that we want or that we dream of or that we intend to have. And that is done through the creative process. Our life is a creative process unfolding. To me, that is a joy. The creative process is our birthright. The creative process is something we participate in every day, whether we're aware of it or not, whether we like what is happening or not. But the creative process can move us towards what we do want, what our heart wants, what we dream of. And that is setting the intention out there, putting it out there. This is where I want to move to, whether it's a better relationship, whether it's a bigger house, whether it's all those material things, or whether it's just finding more joy and happiness, which is what the underlying desire or dream is. If we had a better relationship, we'd be happier. If we had a bigger house, we'd be happier. If we had a better job, we'd be happier. You have to look beneath those visible things and say, what do I really want? What am I really moving towards here? And that is where the creative process comes in, through the decisions and choices we make on a daily basis. We are the creative process. We cannot help but be creative in every choice. Now, that can mean we don't want to face whatever it is. We didn't create that thing. So what do we want to do? Numb out. And take your choice of what you numb out on. It could be food, drugs, alcohol. It could be relationships in and of itself that is numbing you out from what it is you really want. You know, my post last week talked about stillness introduces you to yourself. I know some people who cannot even be in a room and not have the TV on, not have a podcast chatting in the background, cannot have, music or something going on, because if it's quiet, wow, now what now? Now I feel anxious. Now I feel like, ooh, I'm facing myself in that stillness. It really is needed in the creative process as you make steps forward in creating the life you want. There is requirements of stillness and contemplation. Those are the times where you really take a look at what your heart desires, what you really want. And it also helps you to face those things possibly you've been numbing out from, possibly you've been avoiding, or if you're like me, you stuff it down. There has been so much that has come out to be processed for me, especially during COVID when everything was shut down and I had to face myself, literally getting up in the morning and looking in the mirror and going, who are you? Without all the distractions of activity and socializing and the things that were shut down in quarantine. That was hard to look in the mirror and go, who are you really? I can remember feeling some emotions of fear, or even not self-loathing, but just not liking what I was seeing in the mirror. I don't want to use the word hate. I don't want to use the word, repulsed or repelled from. It wasn't that deep and dark. But when I did look in the mirror, I didn't like what I was seeing. I didn't like necessarily what was happening, or where I was headed at that time in my life. Now, that was 4 years ago, but it forced me in that stillness to look deeper within as to what was there. And my first reaction was fear, like, wow, what can I do? And have I waited too long? And do I really have the talent? Or all those things came out. 4 years later, I realized that each step, that each choice actually embedded in the creative process brought me closer to what I wanted to do, brought me closer to who and what it is I wanted to be. And it doesn't matter. You're in a creative process and you don't have to be an artist. You don't have to be a music writer. You don't have to be a sculptor, a painter, a singer. That's a different kind of artistry and creation process. But when you take a look at your life and you want to make changes, or you feel like you need to make changes, that is the creative process. That is exactly what you are engaged in when you start saying, this is what I want, this is what I don't want, this is what I'd like to move towards, I'd like to move away from this. That is all in that energy of creating the life you want, the creative process. This is why we're here. That brings both joys and fears up. It's a mixed bag of emotions, and that's okay. The things that have happened in the past that we may not have had a chance to process are exactly what need to come up today and to be processed in order to move into a greater space of ourselves. There is much more of us that we can expand and broaden. And that could be something physical in doing more, or that could be something just within in being more. Something that is at a deeper level of feeling, a deeper level of connection with the world or with nature, especially nature. Nature is so casual in its seasons and unfolding, and there's no rush, there's no time. And the more I spend time into nature, the more I feel that rhythm of creation that comes from Mother Earth. So please get out in nature if you want to feel the creative process naturally unfolding. It's also a great way to reduce sometimes that anxiety and tension of when we feel we need to make something happen now. It just melts that anxiety away to be out and to feel a connection to something that's greater than ourselves. I don't necessarily attend a church weekly, but I feel like being out in nature, I am connected to the great designer of this world, of the universe, a great spirit that also flows through me. And that spirit is creative and loving and is kind of my cheerleader, like, you can do it. And that's how I view my connection with something greater. And I encourage you to just take a look at every decision, everything you're doing in your daily life, the habits, and know that those are creating the life you want. And guess what? If you don't like the life you have, change those habits and change those thoughts. It's not all going to change within 24 hours and create the manifestation or result that you want in 24 hours, but you can take those steps because you're not the same person you were a year ago. You're not. You can't be. Take a look at photos. You even look different. And if you want to move towards what your heart desires, you will do that in each decision, in each choice, in each changing of patterns and habits and thoughts. And you will see a different person in 1 year. You will see physically in photographs that you are not the same person. And that's the creative process. Delve deep into it and know that there are so many people on this planet at this point in time who are moving through that creative process to create a more joyful, a happier, a more deeper connection to life than they had before. So I am Pasco Pam, your catalyst for transformation, and I will see you soon on another video post.